Have you ever asked yourself, why is this happening to me? Sometimes life takes something away, and sometimes it gives us more than we ever asked for. And in both moments, pain and success, we often forget one thing. We are not the authors of the plan. Only time reveals what was truly a blessing and what was actually protection. If you're struggling right now, or if life feels comfortable and easy, this story is for you. So listen carefully until the very end. At the edge of a quiet countryside town in Oregon, there lived an elderly carpenter named Henry Walker. Henry wasn't wealthy. He lived in a small wooden house, worked alone in his workshop, and believed that if he had food on the table and peace in his heart, he already had enough. People often asked him, "How are you always so calm?" Henry would smile and say, "Because I trust the timing of life." His greatest joy was his teenage daughter, Emily, and his most valuable possession was a rare antique truck he used for work, an old blue pickup that still ran better than most modern cars. One day, a collector from California came to town. When he saw the truck, his eyes lit up. "I'll pay you triple its value," the man said. It was more money than Henry had ever seen. But Henry gently shook his head. "This truck still has work to do with me." The town couldn't believe it. They whispered, "Henry's lost his mind. That money could have changed his life." 3 days later, the truck was gone. Stolen overnight. The same people returned, shaking their heads. "Now look," they said. "He refused his chance, and now he's left with nothing." Emily was heartbroken. "Dad, how can you stay so peaceful?" she asked. "That truck was everything." Henry placed his hand on her shoulder and said, "Sweetheart, we don't yet know what this moment means." A week later, the police found the truck. Not only that, inside it were tools and parts worth thousands, abandoned by a theft ring that had been arrested. The truck became more valuable than ever. The town's tone changed instantly. "Henry is blessed," they said. "Luck is always on his side." Henry smiled, but didn't celebrate. Soon after, Emily started helping more in the workshop. One afternoon, a heavy shelf collapsed. Emily survived, but her arm was badly injured. The town whispered again. "See, that truck brought trouble." Emily cried through the pain. "Dad, this time this is truly bad." Henry replied softly. "Maybe, or maybe not. Let time finish the sentence." 2 weeks later, tragedy struck the country. A major industrial explosion occurred near the city. Young volunteers were urgently called to assist, including people Emily's age with mechanical skills. But Emily couldn't go. Her injured arm kept her home. Days later, the news confirmed it. Several volunteers didn't survive. The town fell silent. Parents mourned, and neighbors came to Henry's house in tears. Henry sat beside Emily and said, "Do you see now? When the truck disappeared, it felt like loss. When it returned, it felt like blessing. When you were injured, it felt like pain. But that pain protected you." He looked at her gently. Life doesn't explain itself immediately. That's why wisdom is patience. Powerful ending message. When something good happens, don't become arrogant. When something bad happens, don't fall apart. Because today's pain may be tomorrow's protection, and today's blessing may be tomorrow's test. Only time reveals the truth. So trust the process, trust God's plan, and walk forward calmly. Because whatever you're facing right now, this too shall pass. If this story touched your heart, leave a like and share what lesson you learned in the comments. You never know. Your words might help someone else today. See you in the next story.